In this video, we're going to be busting a lot of the myths about high fiber foods. Here's what you can expect to learn. First, we're going to cover how much fiber do you need, because to establish what is high and low fiber, that has to be relative to daily requirements. So that's what we're going to cover in that section. Then we're going to talk about what are the most commonly claimed high fiber foods and why they're not actually that high in fiber, yet still beneficial for another reason. Finally, we'll talk about what are the real high fiber foods. So if you're looking for help with diabetes or constipation or diarrhea or digestive issues or anything else that requires a higher fiber diet, you're going to get that information in this section, including what is the single winner, the king of the high fiber foods. So before we jump in, who am I? My name is Igor. I'm the author of the Amazon best-selling book, Type 2 Diabetes Reversal Secrets. As well, I run an online personal training company that specializes in helping type 2 diabetics reverse their diabetes. I've also been teaching my methodology to other personal trainers since 2013 by presenting at the world's largest personal training conferences, and I've done over 400 wellness presentations to some of Canada's biggest corporations, including IBM, Bosch, American Express, University of Toronto, Investor Group, and others. If you want to learn when I publish more videos about exercise and nutrition, click like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So first, we need to establish how much fiber do you really need? Because again, to understand what's high fiber and low fiber, it has to be relative to daily requirements. So here is the position of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. They say that you need, most healthy adults need between 25 and 38 grams per day. And I do emphasize healthy adults. That means there are certain conditions that require higher fiber intake than that and lower fiber intake than that. For example, as I talk about in my diabetes book, diabetics, especially type 2 diabetics, have higher fiber requirements than non-diabetics. At the other end of the spectrum, people with digestive issues, especially Crohn's, colitis, stuff like that, require a lower fiber diet. So again, I want to emphasize that 25 to 38 grams per day is a recommendation for healthy people. Now that you know that, let's use 30 as an average. Now, what are the most commonly claimed high fiber foods? Well, people say vegetables are high in fiber. So let's actually examine, are they really? So let's pick some vegetables. Spinach, they say, is high in fiber, but let's look up how much fiber it actually has. According to Health Canada, 1 cup of spinach only has 0.8 grams per day. And again, if that's what it contains, that's less than 3% of the recommended daily requirements. Again, if the requirements are between 25 and 30 grams per day, let's use 30 as a round midpoint. So it's less than 3%. You're not going to get your fiber requirements by eating spinach. They also say broccoli is high in fiber. Is it really? Well, again, we looked it up on Health Canada, and 1 stalk of broccoli only contains 3.6 grams of fiber, which again is just over 10% of your daily requirements. You would need to have 10 stalks of broccoli to reach your fiber requirements with that alone. They say kale is high in fiber, but is it really? 1 cup of kale is 1.6 grams. That's also less than 10%. So that's not very much. You're not going to meet your fiber requirements with kale. Lettuce, they say, is high in fiber. Well, 1 cup is 1 gram. You need 30 cups to meet your daily requirements. Let's keep going. Cauliflower, they say, is high in fiber. Well, according to Health Canada, 1 cup is only 1.8 grams, which again is well below 10% of the daily requirements. Lastly, let's look at tomatoes. Tomatoes have 1.5 grams per medium tomato, and that is, again, not very much. It's only 5% of the daily requirements. You need to eat 20 medium tomatoes to meet your daily fiber requirements with tomatoes alone. Fortunately, you don't have to rely on vegetables. So if vegetables are so low in fiber, why is the myth so rampant that they're high in fiber? Well, because the reporting is per 100 gram serving. However, you rarely eat 100 grams of any of these because 1 cup of spinach is only 30 grams. So to get 100 grams of spinach, you need to eat 3.3 cups. To get 100 grams of kale, you need to eat 1.5 cups. To get 100 grams of lettuce, you need 2 cups of lettuce. So they're not even impressive on a 100-gram basis, because 3.3 cups of spinach will contain only 2.6 grams of fiber, still less than 10%. 1.5 cups of kale, 2.4 grams, and 2 cups of lettuce are only 2 grams. Bottom line, most vegetables are not high in fiber at all, but that doesn't make them bad for you. The main reason that vegetables are good is not their fiber content, because again, they're not high in fiber. The main reason, in my opinion, that vegetables are good is actually way simpler than that. They have a lot of volume without a lot of calories. If you look on your left, that's how much food you would need to get 530 grams of, 530 calories from vegetables. If you look on the right, the volume is much smaller, but the amount of calories is the same. So 1 cup of potatoes will have the same amount of calories as many cups of vegetables. And so if you're just having a plain salad, no dressing, no croutons, etc., you could have a very big bowl, and it's probably going to have less than 100 calories, but it's going to fill you up just the same. So again, the reason that vegetables are good is probably because they're water content. So if vegetables aren't that high in fiber, what are the real high fiber foods? So to establish what are the high fiber foods, we have to establish what is high fiber. My definition of that is this. High fiber is any food with more than 4 grams of fiber per serving. So here's one example. Raspberries are quite high in fiber. According to Health Canada's nutrition database, a quarter of a pint has 5.5 grams of fiber. That's really good. How much is a quarter of a pint? You know those plastic boxes you get at the grocery store? Half of that box is a quarter of a pint. If you have the whole box, that's 11 grams. Blackberries are also very rich. According to Health Canada's nutrition database, a quarter of a pint has 4.5 grams of fiber. Again, if you double that, if it's not out of the question to eat an entire pint, an entire half pint, I often do, and that would be 9 grams. Medjool dates, 4 dates have about 6.4 grams of fiber. And prunes, dried prunes, not fresh prunes, have 4.2 grams of fiber. One medium apple, has 4.1 grams of fiber. These are your real high fiber foods. Now you might be wondering, but don't fruits contain a lot of sugar? Well, yes, they do, and that's fine for reasons that I elaborate on very thoroughly in my video about fruit for diabetics, which you'll find very interesting even if you're not a diabetic. So check out the 2 reasons why fruits are fine even for diabetics and possibly even beneficial. So now let's get to even higher fiber foods like peas. Just a half a cup of peas has 5.3 grams of fiber. Chickpeas, also extremely rich, 10 grams of fiber per cup of chickpeas. And here come the 2 best ones. Lentils, 8.4 grams of fiber per cup of lentils. And here is the absolute king of fiber, and that is black beans. There are 12 grams of fiber per cup of black beans, which means you're probably going to need somewhere between 50% and as low as about 40% of your daily requirements with 1 cup of black beans. And if you can combine these different foods, for example, you have black beans as a base and maybe like raspberries for dessert, you've got about half of your daily calories, right? Daily fiber requirements right there. And this was just fiber. Now, if you want to dive deep into protein and you want to know which foods are highest in protein, I have a video about that as well. If you want to check it out, click on the link on your screen right now or in the description below.